Okay, so we're going to work out some examples from this assignment, and notice that none of these are set up well. Like, we're going to have to multiply either one of the equations or both of the equations by a number to get them to set up to eliminate. And so it's our job to figure out what the easiest plan is and to execute that. The best mathematicians are lazy. And so if you're always looking for shortcuts, if you always want to take the easy way out, odds are you're probably good at math. So let's just pick one. It doesn't matter. Let's see what we got here. Let's look at our choices. Let's do number 4. And we'll do 7. Let's do 12 too. Let's start with those. So 4, 7, and 12. Okay, starting with number 4. The first thing that I notice is that if this were a -4, I would be in pretty good shape. Okay, if it were a -4, those x's would cancel, and I would be fine. So, but it's not -4 right now. Right now it's +1. So my plan is to multiply everything up here by -4. And because of my constraint on space, I'm going to fill in the -4. So this would be -4x, and -4 times -5 is +20. So this is actually going to become a +20y. And -4 times 15 is -60. So now I have gone through and I've multiplied everything by -4, and sure enough, now it's in good shape. If I add them up now, my x's will eliminate. +4 and -4 is nothing. 0x, 0 cookies is no cookies. 0 x's are no x's, or nothing, nothing. So I got 17y equals -34. Whoops, let me write it in red. And if I take -34 and divide it by 17, I'll get that y is -2. I'll make it colored. Okay, so y equals -2. This is what we know so far. So let's go back to the original. Which equation do you want to plug in y equals -2 for? Probably the top one would be the easiest one. I think I'm going to use that one. Okay, so here's that top equation written exactly the way it was in the original equation. Now we've already altered it, but it doesn't matter. We can go back to the original, or we could go back to what we altered it to. But the original has smaller numbers, so I'm going to go with it. And instead of having a y, I'm going to make it a -2. So what I really have is x plus 10, because -5 times -2, notice they're both negatives. -5 times -2 is +10. So I have x plus 10 equals 15, and then I subtract 10, and I get that x is 5. And we already knew that y was -2. So this, oops, not 12, 2. So here's our coordinate point. Let's go look and see how they have the answers on the worksheet. And they have them in a coordinate point as well. So the way you do these is that you scratch out the letter, and then the letters that are left over spell something. So the right answers get scratched out. Alright, let's do 7. Let's just look at 7 for a second. Notice that I can't just multiply by something. I can't multiply 4 by anything and get to 9. And I can't multiply 2 by something and get to 5. So we're definitely going to have to multiply both of the equations by a number. Okay. So the first thing that you should notice is that if I added them right now, the only thing that would happen would be I'd get 13x minus 7y equals negative 18. No help at all. Like nothing eliminated. I have all the same variables. Didn't help me at all. So I definitely have to alter this. We could go up to 36x because that's actually the closest thing that they have. Or I could go up to 10y, and I think that's the best choice. I think we should go to 10y and not 36. 36 is a pretty big number. So let's get rid of the y's. So the top equation, we're going to have to multiply by 2. And when I do that, I'm going to get negative 10y in the y column. And the bottom equation, I'm going to have to multiply by 5. And if I do that, I'm going to get negative 10y. But I need one of them to be positive. So I think we should multiply the top one by negative 2. And then that'll give me a positive 10y and a negative 10y, which is what I need, because otherwise nothing will eliminate. So I'm going to rewrite both of the new equations down below. So I'm doing the first equation, the top equation first. We're going to do negative 2 times 4. That's going to be a negative 8x. Then we have negative 2 times negative 5y. That's going to give me a positive 10y. And then a negative 2 times negative 28 is going to give me a positive 56. So I have multiplied the top equation by negative 2. All the numbers doubled and changed their sign. The next equation, I'm going to multiply everything by positive 5. 5 times 9 is 45. And 5 times 2, actually 5 times negative 2 is negative 10y. And then 5 times 10 is 50. So I have both of my equations now. The old equations are done. I don't need them anymore because I have new equations that I can look at. And with the new equations, my life gets a lot easier because notice that the 10x's the 10y's will eliminate. Alright, now that I have my two equations, I have negative 8x plus 10y equals 56, and I have negative 45x minus 10y equals 50. When I add the equations now, the 10y's will eliminate. And then I'll be left with 106 here and negative 53x here. If I divide both sides by negative 53, and feel free to use your calculator, don't be afraid of bigger numbers. Your calculator will solve bigger numbers as easily as it solves smaller numbers. But 106 divided by negative 53 is negative 2, because 53 is half of 106. So we do have the x solved for. Now we have to plug it back in and find out what y would be. So let's go back to the original equation and let's pick the easiest equation to use. Let's see, I'm guessing maybe the second one. Let's use the second one. So negative 9x minus 2y equals 10. Negative 9x minus 2y equals 10. And x is negative 2. So I'm going to write negative 9 times negative 2 minus 2y equals 10. Notice the only thing I did was plug a negative 2 in place of x. So negative 9 times negative 2 is 18. And so now I have 18 minus 2y equals 10. And again, there's nothing in front of the 18, so that means it's positive, which means we would have to subtract it. These 18s will go away, and I'll be left with negative 2y equals negative 8. when I divide by negative 2, I get that y is 4. So we knew that x was negative 2, and now we know that y is 4. So let's look at the thing negative 2. It took me a while to find it, but I did find it. Negative 2, 4. So that gets eliminated now, or scratched out. The next one I want to do is number 12. So let's, and it says 5x minus 12y equals negative 16, and negative 3x plus 4y equals 0. The only thing that I think might throw kids off is the 0 part, but it doesn't really change anything. It's just a number, just like everything else, so it's not going to get treated any differently. But we'll do it anyway. Alright, when I look at this problem, I can't multiply 3 by anything to get to 5, but I can multiply 4 by something to get to 12. So that's definitely our best bet, is to multiply the second equation by 3. Because if I multiply everything here by 3, then I'll get positive 12y here, and I already have a negative 12y there. So that's perfect. That's what I needed. That is definitely the best play. So we're going to multiply everything in this second equation by negative 3. Positive 3. 3 times negative 3 is negative 9x. 3 times 4y is positive 12y. 3 times 0 is 0. That does not change. Nothing happens, nothing special. You just multiply 3 times 0 and you get 0. Now, I'm going to rewrite everything with the two new equations. I got an equation here and then I got an equation here. Okay. The first thing that I notice is that the 12s will cancel, and I'll be left with negative 4x equals negative 16. Because 5 plus negative 9 is negative 4, and negative 16 plus 0 is negative 16. When I divide by negative 4 on both sides, I'm going to get that x is 4. Because negative 16 divided by negative 4 is positive 4. So I do already have one of them solved for. X is 4. So let's look back at the original equation and let's see which one will be easier to set up. It doesn't matter. We can just pick the top one. So we're going to plug in positive 4 for x. Alright, so I rewrote the original equation, and now I'm going to put a 4 in for x. Well, 5 times 4 is just 20. So I'm going to get 20 minus 12y equals negative 16. Then I'm going to subtract 20 from both sides because 20 was positive here. Don't forget, there was nothing in front of it, so that means it was positive. So if I subtract 20 from over here, and use your calculator if you're feeling unsure, but you're going to get negative 12y equals negative 36. And I'm going to give myself some more room. So I have negative 12y equals negative 36. If I divide by negative 12 on both sides, I'm going to get that y equals positive 3. And I can't remember what x was. Oh, x was 4. So x is 4 and y is 3. So that's 4, 3. So let's find it on our worksheet. Make sure we have the right one, and I already see it. So why don't you try some by yourself, and if you don't find your answers on the page, then raise your hand and ask for help, and we'll work out a couple together. But I really want you to try some by yourself. Elimination's not that bad, but you do need a lot of practice. So we are going to do another. You're going to practice a lot for these.